Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Department of Product. Coming up this week, we take a look at Google's latest reasoning models, a deep dive into what new features top companies like Meta, Amazon, Google Maps and others are building, GitHub's new agent and what this could mean for the future of software development, along with the usual mix of tools and data that you can use at work. As always, if you enjoy the briefing, hit the subscribe and the like button. So first up, Google has released an updated version of its Gemini mobile app on iOS and Android, which this time includes its own reasoning model, Gemini 2.0 Flash Thinking. And what this means in practical terms is that the model can now be connected to other Google products, which include things like Google Maps, YouTube, and Google Search. So this enables a whole bunch of new AI-powered interactions between those products that theoretically can't be matched by competitors like OpenAI and DeepSeek. So when using Gemini's 2.0 Flash Thinking model via the mobile app, the model can do things like access real-time information from Google Search, retrieve relevant YouTube videos to supplement responses, and utilize Google Maps data for location-based queries. In other AI-related news, Snapchat is launching its own text-to-image research model for mobile devices. So this runs 100% locally on devices, which in theory makes it much cheaper. And Snap says the model can produce high-resolution images in around 1.4 seconds on an iPhone 16 Pro Max, and it will be used to power features including AI snaps and AI Bitmoji backgrounds. Along with these features, this week, Snapchat also announced that its subscription product, Snapchat Plus, has grown a massive 131% year on year, which has doubled its subscribers to 14 million. So I remember when that subscription product first got announced, there was a lot of negativity around it and predictions that it would fall flat on its face. But what Snapchat has shown is that there is an audience willing to pay a small price, in this case $5, for access to features that are unique to Snapchat's proposition. Something to think about if you're launching a subscription-based product which gives users access to additional features, even if on the face of it, it doesn't feel like a good fit. Meanwhile, GitHub has launched a new agentic product that it's calling AgentMod. And according to the CEO of GitHub, this elevates Copilot from being a pair programmer to a peer programmer. It's available in VS Code, and AgentMod allows Copilot to iterate on its own code, propose and guide terminal commands, and analyze and resolve runtime errors. As part of the same announcement, GitHub has also given us a sneak peek into an upcoming feature that it is calling Project Padawan. Obviously a Star Wars reference there. But when it's released later this year, Project Padawan will allow engineers to directly assign issues to GitHub Copilot, and then GitHub Copilot will produce fully tested pull requests which can be reviewed by the human engineer. I'm not fully sure why it's called Padawan. Maybe if you're a Star Wars fan, you can enlighten me on that. But in practical terms, for product teams, the ability to assign a ticket directly to AI and then defer the engineer's role as purely one to review the work is a profound change. And it could potentially transform the whole end-to-end software engineering experience. Models are increasingly beating software engineering benchmark tests, and the rapid pace of change here is a little bit unsettling, but it's also pretty exciting. And if you're interested in learning more about what types of new features AI product teams are currently building, then if you head over to the Substack this week, there are two new pieces. The first is a deep dive report where I analyze how over 25 different top tier companies like Google, Adobe, DocuSign, Meta, Zoom, and a bunch of others are integrating new AI features into their products. In the deep dive, I take a look at things like AI agents, UX enhancers, and assistants from each of the companies featured. So if you're currently working on your own set of AI features for the year ahead, then hopefully this should come in handy. As well as that, if you're somebody like me who desperately needs visuals when you're communicating at work, then the Knowledge series this week explains how you can use AI to create visuals from scratch for use in things like presentations, documents, process diagrams, and more. So head over to the Substack if that's something that you're interested in. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about what's going on at OpenAI this week. So first up, some new analysis revealed this week suggests that the gap between API revenues and subscription revenues is starting to narrow at OpenAI, with B2C subscriptions revenues reaching an impressive $4 billion in 2024, while API revenues hit $3.2 billion. So this is analysis from the publication The Information, which also suggests that the company has seen substantial growth in its user base, with paying subscribers nearly tripling from 5.8 million in 2023 to 15.5 million in 2024. And as we mentioned last week, the arrival of DeepSeek into the market had a deep impact on the market. If companies are paying a premium to integrate with APIs like OpenAI, then what impact will cheaper models have on the revenue streams for companies like OpenAI? And could new product launches from OpenAI continue to keep B2C subscriptions growing? The company is pretty impressive at releasing new products, and we've seen things like Deep Research get revealed this week, which is a new tool for teams to be able to create in-depth analysis. And they're doing a really good job at building out a whole suite of different products that are powered by their models. Could we see OpenAI potentially enter the workspace and start to compete with the likes of Microsoft and Google? Who knows? But that would be a pretty bold move if it did happen. OpenAI has also undergone a major rebrand this week. And this rebrand included a new typeface, which is called OpenAI Sans. And this is a bespoke sans serif font that it now uses across its product line. And it was developed by an in-house team led by head of design Veit Muller and design director Shannon Yeager. So while the company may still be making a loss of billions, that doesn't mean that it doesn't have budget for undergoing rebrands. Okay, now let's take a look at some tools you can use. We'll start off with the company that's called Decagon. Now, you may have heard of Decagon, but I was first introduced to this when I used it unknowingly on my Substack to ask some support questions, and the responses were pretty impressive. So it's designed to help customers resolve complex issues and take actions on behalf of customers as well. Alongside Substack, one company that has used it is Rippling, and they say that this tool has managed to allow them to increase customer self-service rates from 38% to 50%. So if you're currently undergoing an AI transformation and you're looking for ways to automate customer service, then Decagon could be a tool worth checking out. Next up is a new browser. I love to check out new browsers, but what I tend to do, if I'm completely honest, is try out a new browser and then resort back to the one I always use, which is Brave in my case. But this is a new browser from Opera, and the reason why I like this is because it's built entirely around one idea, and that idea is mindful web browsing. So they've doubled down heavily on this value proposition. And this browser includes features like meditations, beats for productivity, and reminders to take regular breaks and stretch your neck. So if you're somebody who is permanently locked to a browser screen at work and you're looking for something to remind you to take a deep breath every now and again, then this new product from Opera could be worth checking out. And then this one is for productivity gurus out there. So this is a new product called Hero, which allows you to see all of your life in one place. So Hero combines calendars, reminders, notes, groceries, weather, GPT, voice, and a whole bunch more to create what it calls the ultimate daily assistant. Now, I haven't tried this one myself just yet, but as a fan of products like Things and Notion, it looks like the kind of thing I could be really interested in. So take a look at that if that's something that's up your street as well. Now let's take a look at some data and trends for the week. So first up, Spotify has set a new Q4 record and is celebrating this week its first year of full profitability. So subscribers grew to 263 million, which is up 11% year on year. And when Spotify reports its earnings, what I really like to do is to take a look at their earnings deck and find out what product changes have been made since the last earnings to understand how the product is reflected in their earnings reports. So in this case, they've decided to focus heavily on Spotify's recent updates to its video player as it looks to fight off the threat from YouTube, which is pretty quickly becoming the go-to place for podcasts. And even though Spotify mentions that it's made some improvements to its video player recently, I must admit, I'm not sure what those improvements are because I can't notice them myself. I still find the video player pretty clunky. If you have any thoughts about Spotify's video player, let me know in the comments below. And speaking of video, LinkedIn's director of product says that its video player is booming. In a post this week, the director of product outlined that usage on the video player has grown 36% year on year, and it is actually growing at twice the rate of other platforms. So if you're looking currently to introduce some form of video feed or video functionality into your product, then it might be worth taking a read of that post from LinkedIn's director of product over on LinkedIn. Meanwhile, retention rates for mobile apps are continuing to fall. Now, retention rates for mobile apps are notoriously bad. And in 2024, overall day one retention rates fell from an already low figure of 14% to just 13%. Day 30 retention rates are remaining pretty steady at 3%. And out of all the different app categories that are featured, e-commerce marketplace apps have the highest day one retention rate of 25%. If you work on a mobile app and you're interested in contextualizing your own product's performance, then check out this report from the Mobile App Trends Report 2025. And finally, I'll leave you with this pretty impressive stat, which is that over 75% of US adults were using Amazon Prime in 2024. This is a pretty eye-watering figure. And I'm sure that even the product execs who pitched this as a product when it originally launched probably could never expect that the total addressable market for Amazon Prime was this large. What do you think? Are you an Amazon Prime user? Let me know in the comments below. And with that, I'll leave it there. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll see you next week for another briefing.